Alrighty, fam, it's time to lock in. This is the long awaited Let's Vibe podcast episode, I believe number 62. This is going to be the lightning in a bottle recap and review. You might want to grab a snack, grab a drink. We're going to dive into this festival that was just so incredible and so amazing, and I'm excited to give you guys all the tea about this festival. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. I am so excited to share my lightning in a bottle experience with you guys, and I finally finished the written review and recap that I'm going to link down below for you guys. The vlogs have been up for, I think, over a month now, so you can go check out the vlogs and kind of see how my experience played out. But I am really so excited to share this experience because it was such a beautiful, magical, synchronistic, transformative experience that I just had such an urge to go this year that I was like, you know what? It's time to listen to it. It's time to make it happen. And we made it happen. So I'm excited to kind of like debrief with you guys all the things that happened at Lightning in a Bottle and kind of give you guys the behind the scenes look of how the vlogs went and all of that. And so I'll just give you a little bit of a background about Lightning in a Bottle. I originally was actually supposed to go to this festival in 2020, and I've been talking a lot about, I feel like 2024 has been a year of what my 2020 should have looked like because I went through a breakup at the beginning of the year, and then like COVID happened, all of that happened. I fell into another relationship. So now I feel like I went through the beginning of a breakup at 2024, and like now I'm having all of these amazing and incredible experiences that I should have had, right? So it wasn't until earlier this year during Groove Cruise where I believe the lineup had already dropped for Lightning in a Bottle, and I just could not stop thinking about it. And we all know I love Electric Forest, and something about Electric Forest this year just was not pulling me in. I think it was the lineup. I think it was the price increases. I just felt like I didn't want to go to Electric Forest this year. So I was figuring out what my schedule was going to look like if it wasn't Forest, and I could not stop thinking about Lightning in a Bottle after Groove Cruise. So I posted to my close friends story, and I asked my friends who's going to Lightning in a Bottle, who's interested. And my friend Inake, who I had gone to Seismic Dance Event 2021, I believe, with, she's originally from Houston but lives in San Diego now. She responded and she was like, oh my God, I love Lightning in a Bottle. I'd be so down to go. Like, let's figure it out. And I was like, all right, boom. That's all I needed. I just needed one person interested. So we figured it out. We bought our VIP tickets. I bought the car camping pass. She rented a car, and she was like, just fly into San Diego. I'll drive us up from San Diego, which is about a 4-hour drive. And like, let's just do this. And I was like, all right, let's do it. The stars were aligning. So this was Memorial Day weekend, which was honestly perfect because I do get the Monday off with my 9 to 5. So I really only had to take Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. I do get unlimited PTO, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I just was really excited to go. Back in 2020, I did have a ticket, but I decided to donate it back to Lightning in a Bottle. I felt like that money was already spent. I could have either gotten a refund or I could have rolled over my ticket. And I just decided, you know what? Keep my money. Hopefully it keeps the lights on, and I'll return to you guys when it makes sense. And it just made sense to go now. It just felt right. And we made those plans. And so in this recap, we're going to be going kind of all over all of those things, but that's just a little bit of the background. And I knew I was meant to go for a reason, and it kind of just became clearer and clearer, all the lessons and reminders I got from this festival. And, the intention I really had was just to be open and curious and see what was meant for me in this experience. And I talked about this in the life update episode that was posted earlier this week, that the word that comes up for me in this experience is reflection. And I'm kind of excited to just kind of like debrief that with you guys. So moving into the actual review and recap. So the venue that Lightning in a Bottle is hosted at, it is at the Buena Vista Lake in California, which is just about 2 hours north of LA and kind of outside of Bakersfield. So there's Bakersfield, there's LA, and then it's right here. I came from San Diego, so we drove up through that way. And basically what this place is, it's like centered around a lake, right? Buena Vista Lake. So it's kind of like a aquatic park area, recreation park area that's surrounded by this lake. So they kind of build the venue and the campgrounds all around kind of like the edge of the water, essentially. So you can be camping close to the water. And what's really interesting about these campgrounds is that they're in different sections. So they have sunrise, high noon, and then sunset. So that's where you get placed. I think it can be dependent on what time you arrive to the festival, when you arrive to the festival. We got to the festival pretty late on Wednesday. We did have a 5-day VIP pass. I think that's important to know. We did get there pretty late. We literally got to the gates like 30 minutes before they were closed because our braiding appointment took a lot longer than expected, but it ended up working out because we got placed in high noon, which is kind of like, dead center of the whole festival kind of campgrounds. And we were less than a 10-minute walk from the entrance of the festival. So it was super clutch where we got placed at. And, we did traditional kind of like car camping. My friend Inike, she had all the camping gear, which I was so blessed and grateful for her. She honestly took care of me in that sense and had like basically our shelter set up. She cooked breakfast for me. Like I was very well taken care of and I'm so grateful for her. And I was just telling her that all weekend. But yeah, we lucked out. Like some people were trying to save spots, but it really is like, you show up and that's the spot you get. You can't save spots. So one of the workers was like, here you go. Here's the spot. And we were super close to porta potties, super close to like the main plaza. And then also close to the festival, which was really awesome. Like I pulled up the map on my phone and it can show you like your little blue dot where you're at. And I was like, oh my God, we got the best spot basically. But you can basically imagine this like super flat terrain around this lake. Can get very dusty, definitely like kind of in a desert, right? And it does kind of have this summer camp feeling, but it's really cool to see how Dulab just transforms the whole space, right? And so depending on where you get placed for the camp, if you're in sunrise or sunset or high noon, that kind of estimates your walk to the festival. But at each of those different camps, there is like a main plaza. I'm going to compare this festival a lot to Electric Forest because that's another major camping festival that I've been to that a lot of you guys also might have gone to. So like at Electric Forest in the GA camping, we have like the main street area. Whereas at Lightning in a Bottle, there's 3 different main sections and they're pretty spread out from each other. So even going to afters and like the different camp areas is a pretty far walk, but they do have these plazas and that's where like showers are, water stations. There's a ton of water stations at this festival. I'll get to that. But at these plazas, that's where showers, food is, bathrooms, like things like that. And they have a plaza at each one of those like main camps. There isn't like a good life, like VIP camping, like at Electric Forest. What it really is like they do have like the sectioned off areas for like pre-made tents and they show you where that's at the map, but there's no like VIP camping. If you have a VIP ticket, it is just for the festival. That's definitely something I would be interested to see if they change over time. VIP in the festival was actually really clutch and I'll get into that, but there wasn't like a set VIP camp area like there is at Electric Forest with Good Life. So I would say that's definitely something that's just a little bit different, but that's kind of like the lay of the land. And, security wasn't too intense getting there. We arrived, they scanned our wristbands and then kind of just waved us through. I don't know if they did more thorough checks as the week went on. But we got there on Wednesday and, they did do 5-day passes and then they did 3-day passes. So a lot of people did get there on Friday. And I could feel the shift in terms of people getting there. So that's kind of like the lay of the land. I liked getting there Wednesday because it just gave us more time to explore. Even though we got there Wednesday late at night, right? But it did give us that Thursday. You can kind of view Thursday as like the pre-party, like pre-game kind of day because not all the stages are open. Only the Woogie stage was open. The stacks were open. Some of the smaller stages were open, but it's not like a full festival scheduled day essentially. So it was really nice to have Thursday because there wasn't as many people. We could explore a lot more, get our bearings a lot more. And then Friday, it's like the festival is in full swing. That's a little bit about the venue. Then now I'm going to get into the overall experience. So you kind of know like the lay of the land of things. If you go watch the vlogs, you can see how this all transpired and kind of the lay of the land of everything. I do wish I did like a better walking tour of things, but like it's my first year. I was just so overwhelmed and excited to be there. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the overall experience, like Lightning in a Bottle really exceeded my expectations. Like I truly was so impressed with everything, and it was just so fun. It honestly gave me the same feeling that I got when I went to Electric Forest the first time back in 2018. And, you know, I will always love Forest, but I think we can all agree that Electric Forest has become a lot more mainstream. You know, with the certain partners that they have and things like that. Like I was looking at like Electric Forest this year, and I just saw so many like brand sponsorships and like things like that. And like it has become a little bit mainstream, and I hate to sound like snobby with that, but I really like my expectations were exceeded by Lightning in a Bottle. And I was just super impressed with the festival and the community, and like just overall how easy the whole experience was. Like, yes, it was a camping festival, but I didn't feel like super beat up, you know. It was hot, it was dusty, but like I left feeling so good. I didn't get sick after, which was really great. But like looking back on this experience, I really just don't have many complaints to talk about, and I don't really have any cons. I do have some things that could be changed, and like maybe the VIP experience that I'll talk about, but I really just felt like this weekend was like a time for me to come home to myself. And like I really do feel that as I was looking through the crowd, everyone just felt so free and expressive. And a follower actually pointed this out to me, that when they were looking at my Instagram story recaps, like barely anyone was on their phones. Like no one was really recording. People weren't on their phones like we see at a lot of these major festivals. Like everyone was just in their vibe and in their thing. And the best way I can describe the Lightning in a Bottle experience is that it's really a choose your own experience. If you want to go to a bunch of workshops and have some healing weekend and playful weekend, like you can do that. If you just want to go for the music, that's also fine too. But I do think going to the workshops is super cool. Like they have a whole schedule of workshops, like a full schedule of workshops. There's multiple little areas for these workshops. There's like a learning kitchen, there's yoga, there's 2 areas for yoga or some movement type things. There's like things where, you know, we talk about psychedelics, or there's even like a kids zone where they had certain seminars for like parents. There was even like a speed dating thing. I also have a funny story about a baseball game that I'll get to, but like it's just really like choose your own experience. If you want to go hang out at the lake, like you can hang out at the lake, and, you know, enjoy that and be near the lake. You can even be by Woogie and hear some music while you're like enjoying the lake. You could do that. Like you really can choose your own experience and really take it at your pace, because the festival is technically open 24 hours. With the security, it's not like, you know, only open from, you know, when the gates open at 9 a.m. and then goes until like 3 a.m. like at Electric Forest, right? Like security is always open, and going to and from the gates, you just have to go through like a quick security check, and they're really just looking for weapons and alcohol. But otherwise it's open. Like it literally goes from sunrise to sunset. Like literally there's always something going on at this festival. And so you really can choose that if you want to be, you know, up all night and then go back and do a quick nap and then go to a workshop, like you could do that. I definitely think like trying to get like little mini naps here and there is the best way to survive, but you really can take this festival at whatever pace you want and choose your own experience, which I feel like I really love. And there's just so much, like tons more workshopping and seminars and like things like that compared to Electric Forest, that I was not prepared for that, right? And that's definitely something I want to make a priority, like the next time I go to more of those workshops and kind of balance that a little bit better. Because there was a couple that we just didn't get a chance to go to, because we would like wake up, have breakfast, shower. We had a portable shower, which was super helpful. And I'll talk a little bit about like the camping experience of it all. But yeah, as I mentioned with security, like it is, you know, just a quick little security check. It's not this massive like production with like security. They're really just checking for weapons and alcohol and checking bags and things like that. I felt super safe the whole time. I never once did not feel safe. And I think that just speaks to like the community. Like Lightning in a Bottle has certain pillars that they live by. It kind of gives a little bit like Burning Man. It's like Burning Man, to be honest, without like the survival component. And a lot of burners do go to Lightning in a Bottle, and you can kind of feel that community in that sense there for sure. And so overall, like with that, let me just double check my notes here. So yeah, overall, like with that security point, it really just allows you to go in and out to the festival. Like it was super easy for us to go quickly change for nighttime and then go back out and things like that. So that's kind of like how it really goes. Like it's just the hours are always open. You can go catch a sunrise and go to bed and then wake up and then enjoy the rest of your day. Like I just really loved how easy it was to kind of just go with the flow with that, right? And I felt like that's just super different compared to other festivals I've gone to. It was kind of similar to like Dirty Bird Campout, but I don't think Dirty Bird Campout was open all 24 hours. I think they had like certain hours that they were closed. But that's what I feel like makes Lightning in a Bottle super unique. As for the camping experience, I would say it's pretty standard to like typical festival camping. You know, it does get pretty hot, right, during the day. I did find out this tip from someone that did VIP last year is that when their tent got hot, they would go to the VIP viewing area at one of the stages because there's comfortable couches and things like that. And they would actually take a nap there. And so I learned that little tip and I was like, dang, that would be nice to know. But you know, we did it. We had our like little tent and then we had our Easy Up, and then Inike has this like Easy Up converter that you can kind of convert your Easy Up into like a little hangout tent. And so we would open up like the windows and let some breezeway in. You can see that in the vlogs. But I felt like we were super prepared. I definitely recommend getting a portable shower. Inike had this portable shower that like was battery operated and it was like a pump. So it wasn't like, you know, the gallon bag that you have to kind of like figure out with the hose, like how to get on you. Like it was an actual like hose with like a shower head that had like an electronic pump. So it was just super easy to shower. I believe the showers were pretty expensive. I didn't pay for them. I just did that portable shower. And so we would go fill up the water and then come back. We even became friends with our neighbors and like they would go fill it up for us, which was super nice. So honestly, like we did the best with camping. I will say though, that the terrain of camp was filled with like this hay or like these like, I don't know, really annoying like grass kind of things. I'm still finding some of those pieces of hay and like grass strands, whatever, like to this day, still finding them, but it's okay. It does get pretty hot. It does get pretty windy. So you definitely want to make sure everything's staked down. We just did car camping. You could do RV, you could do like a pre-set up tent thing, but we just did car camping. And honestly, I feel like we got by just fine. It was really nice to have Inike because I didn't have to worry about bringing a lot of stuff because I was traveling from Austin. So overall, that was really nice. And then, you know, we had porta potties near us and then we had the main plaza near us. And then if we didn't eat, we ate breakfast at camp and then we would eat other meals inside. So usually kind of just like budgeted for stuff like that. If you have any questions throughout this time, feel free to leave me a comment on the YouTube video or like shoot me a DM, email, whatever. Getting into the VIP experience, like I mentioned, it is a little bit different compared to like Electric Forest where like you're in Good Life, you're in a Good Life camping experience and then you have Good Life VIP experience in the festival. We had a VIP experience in the festival, but not in the campgrounds necessarily, but I didn't find that to be like too big of a deal. What you get with VIP, I'll mention that there are different lounges at the three main stages. So there's Lightning Stage, Thunder Stage, Woogie Stage. Those are kind of like the main ones that have like some of the bigger artists programmed there. At the Lightning Stage, I really love that lounge because there's bathrooms, there was food, there was a bar, and there was a ton of places to sit and chargers, but they also had this really incredible viewing area right in front of the stage. So I was like this close to like lane 8. If you guys watched that vlog, you could see me just like panic because I love lane 8 so much. And I was like, I've never been this close to him. Holy shit, you know? So that viewing area was really clutch for some of the main acts, you know, like Lane 8, Labyrinth we saw there, Skrillex we saw there. So I really loved that. However, at the Thunder Stage and the Woogie Stage, the lounges were kind of off to the side and didn't have a viewing area. So I would love to see that for next year potentially or in future years, especially at the Thunder Stage. Would have been super clutch for artists like Closey, xoxo. Like the lounge from the Thunder Stage was super far detached a little bit. But it was still really nice. They also had beds there, which like that's where I should have gone to nap during the day. You know what I mean? And then at the Woogie Stage, the lounge was to the side, but there wasn't like a speaker. So like we didn't really have good sound there. So that would have been really nice. So for the 2025 5-day ticket price for VIP, it is $779. And I found that to be worth it just for like the bathrooms alone, having a comfortable place to sit, charger, separate food, bar. Like, I kind of find that to be worth it, especially for a camping festival where you can feel very icky and kind of gross. And I think it was super nice to be able to take a break there and then also be able to see some of those artists from that separate viewing area. So I definitely think it's worth it. I would be curious to see if they, separate out VIP camping for next year and you get like a prime, spot for camping. I don't know how they would do that. They probably wouldn't do that, but a girl can, request. But I do think having a viewing area for like Thunder Lounge and Woogie Lounge would be super clutch, even if it's super small, like just off to the side, or just add a speaker so we could at least hear the music a little bit better. Because like at Woogie, we're just listening to the speakers that are used for the DJ, so we're not really getting the full wubs, but all in all, like no regrets. I find that was worth it, and it was super helpful because we had places to take breaks and stuff like that. So that was super clutch in my opinion. Okay, so now moving on to some of the non-music features. Like I mentioned, like so much workshops. There's like a little art area, there's a kids area, there's like, I don't know. There was just so much. The Grand Artique is a lot bigger than the Grand Artique at Electric Forest. There's a whole lore about that I have to get into. But yeah, let me just get into it now. So on Saturday, day 3, this was going to be like our big day, to be honest. Inike and I were like, yeah, we're going to be up all night. We're going to do the thing. We're going to have ourselves a day. So we go in at like 4 p.m. and we just like are adventuring around, having some fun, just us two girlies. And we had become friends with this couple, Amy and Marcus, and they texted us letting us know when they got to the festival, and they were like, meet us at the Grand Artique for like whiskey shots. Even though we weren't going to get them, we were just going to meet them. And we're like, okay, bet. So we're coming from the Thunder stage. And let me just say, we're on a little vibe. We're on a little vibe. We're feeling good. We're having a good time. We're a little giggly. And I'll leave it at that. We show up to the Grand Artique, and there is a baseball game going on. But it's not just like your typical baseball game. They are like slingshotting water balloons, and I guess whoever catches the water balloon gets the point, but of course it's a water balloon, so it like splashes on everyone, and they're all in this like old school baseball gear, and there's like commentators dressed in like football kind of commentating stuff, like old school, like kind of looking like Anchorman, right? And they're commentating this as if it's like a real game. And so you can imagine if you're feeling a little vibe, you're feeling a little giggly, like we're stumbling on this thing, like what the fuck is going on? Like there's just this game going on and everyone's just laughing, like the commentating, whatever. And like, we're still waiting for our friends. So we're just watching this all go down. And like, it's kind of like close to sunset too. So we're like, what is going on? Like, this is just so funny, like whatever. And the game ends. One of the teams win. I don't know how they won. I don't know how it was scored, but one of the teams won. And it's just like, it's just one of those funny festival things that you like come up upon and you're like, oh my God, like what is going on? How do I explain this to a pilgrim, right? All of the players are going around and like going around to the crowd and they're going like, good game, good game, good game, good game. And like Inike and I are talking about this because like all of them still continue in character even after the game's done. And Inike has been a performer for Insomniac. So she's like, yeah, they're really good. Like they're not breaking character. Like you don't break character until you're like in the back trailer. Like you don't break character until you're out of sight, basically. And so they gather around and take a group team photo. And we're like, oh, ha, 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 like team photo. Finally, Amy and Marcus come and we're just laughing so hard. We can't even like describe what we just witnessed. Like we watched history being made, you guys. And we're trying to describe it to them. And we're just like, like we can't get it out. And they're like, okay, we're going to go get whiskey shots. And we're like, okay. So we go and follow them and we're waiting for them. And I'm like giggling still, like as I'm watching them take this team photo. I'm like, man, that's just like so funny. Like they're just, because even too, they're having like side conversations about like, oh yeah, like the wife tonight, blah, blah, blah. Like they're still in character. And I look up above the whiskey bar and there are the team photos of the baseball team. And I like point to Inike and I'm like, there's other photos. I was like, are these from years past? And like, lo and behold, there is a whole lore about this baseball team. And we were just like, what in the world? Like, we just witnessed like the annual baseball game, like so casually. Mind you, this is also on the schedule. It's in the Lightning in a Bottle app. Like it literally said baseball game, Grand Artique. And I was like, we just witnessed this thing. Like, what did we just witness? Like, we were just dying. And so there's like little funny things like that that are like super quirky, right? There was like a speed dating thing. There was like, fire dancers and like, bunch of things like that. There's also like this thing called the Bodega that had like kinky stuff going on in there, I think. There was also Burning Man type art cars that came out at nighttime that were really cool. There was the Martian Circus, which I saw on Groove Cruise. They had this whole big like activation that's super like psychedelic, trippy, whatever. Like they have a whole like late night thing. They also do sound healing super late at night. There was also this like little cassette area that like there was someone DJing and he was literally playing like cassette tapes and it was like old school stuff. And it was always kind of fun popping in there and seeing what song was playing. Like we literally popped in. This was also on Saturday. We popped in and there was Electric Avenue playing and we ran into this group of people that were flight control. Like they were all dressed like flight control. Like they had the little like light up things and like the vests. We met them at the stage before, like for one of the sets. And then we ran into them again. And of course it's like Electric Avenue is playing as they're all dressed as like flight control people. You know what I mean? So we were just like absolutely dying and just having the best time exploring this place. I don't think we explored enough. I definitely think we could have explored more. I did go to a yoga workshop. I went to like an elixir workshop. We went to like a sensual dance workshop. I definitely wish we could have like done more workshops, but it was just kind of like the timing of it all. Like my friends, Jake and Amy had a shuffle workshop. So I wish we could have checked that out, but like we did the best that we could. You know what I mean? Moving on to the food. So like I mentioned, we did breakfast at camp and we had like little snacks and like sandwiches, like little things like that. Ineke had a mini stove. So she made this like really yummy like breakfast hash thing that was super good. And then we would have like sandwiches like late night, and then we had like little chips, like stuff like that. And then of course we had like water, things to stay hydrated. I had my energy drinks, which dehydrated me, but I needed the energy. But other than that, I think when it comes to festival food these days, you have to find the best bang for your buck, essentially. Like you have to find something that's like filling, but also like worth your money. So the first day I had a chicken teriyaki bowl, like that was good. The lemonade was also fire at this festival. I could get passion tea lemonade with boba in it, which was dope. And then the second day I also tried these little bao bun dumpling things that were good. And then I landed on the chicken and waffles, you guys. I had chicken and waffles Friday and Saturday. I held off on Sunday, or I might have had it on Sunday. I can't remember. That was probably the most filling. It was $26, which like, ouch. But that was the most filling. I also got lemonade. It might have been 26 with the lemonade, but yeah, that was my favorite. It was so good, so yummy. So definitely recommend the chicken and waffles because you get protein, you get carbs. Like it was a good amount of food. I also did get a poke bowl on the last day, which was so good and tasted so fresh. Like I was so impressed with it. That was really good. But they have we also got pizza one of the days. I can't remember what day that was, but that was good. It was like a wood fired like pizza. They made it right there. The food options were really great. It's just a matter of finding things that are good. I did have some friends that like got like chicken tenders and fries that weren't that great. So we kind of went for some things that you normally wouldn't get, right, at like your typical kind of festival. So like chicken and waffles, and then like, it wasn't just pizza. It was like an artisan pizza, right? Like wood fire pizza, poke bowl, so you definitely have to figure out the best bang for your buck. We didn't drink at this festival, but they did have a lot of non-alcoholic options. There was also tons of water stations, which was really great. Like you could walk a couple feet and there's another water station, and then there's another water station. Like definitely was super helpful to have that. Lots of vendors and things like that to shop from. I also went to the Dance Safe tent because I lost my earplugs the first day, so I was able to replace those right away, which was really nice. And I'm trying to think, lots to shop from, lots of food vendors, like definitely had a lot there. And yeah, there's different bars and stuff that you can drink at. Of course, it cuts off at 2 a.m. And they don't let you bring in alcohol from outside of the festival. Of course, people still sneak it in, you know? Moving on to weather, I did hear from some past veterans that we lucked out really well with the weather. I did find it to be pretty hot, but we managed, right? And we stayed cool. That's why the VIP lounges were super nice. And then it was pretty dusty. So I definitely recommend bandana or dust mask to keep out the mask. I think that's what kept me from getting sick. And, you know, I did my best when I went back to camp to like blow my nose out, clear my sinuses, things like that. In terms of nighttime, it does get a little chilly, but it depends on where you're at. So like I would kind of bundle up and then I'd get too hot, depending on what stage I was at. So even just like a light jacket or pashmina is nice, but I did ball out and I got like a Liquid Dreams hoodie kind of thing. It's like the super comfy fur jacket that I really wanted. My friend Britta works with them and I've always wanted one of those. So I did splurge on that. But I was like, rave math, girl math, like I wear this a certain amount of times and I've made money, you know? So yeah, all in all though, the weather was perfect. Like didn't deal with anything. I think just the dust can be a lot. The heat can be a lot. And it can get a little cold. So you just need to prepare for that and like pack some of those things. Also definitely is a lot of walking. So packing comfortable shoes is also very key. Now, when it comes to the music is what drew me in because like I saw Labyrinth on this lineup. I saw Lane 8, I saw xoxo, Honey Dijon, like a lot of names that I had really been wanting to see. So I'll kind of go through my favorite sets as well as some other fun things from this day. But of course, you can go watch the vlogs, right? So like I said, Thursday was very much like an exploring day. We were just waiting for Honey Dijon at the end of the night. She was playing at Woogie. So we really just were exploring this day. We did go to the Stacks a lot. The Stacks has some of the best sound system there. That's one of the stages. That's where a lot of like surprise sets happened. And then also a lot of like up and coming artists also played there. So I saw a lot of fire sets there. My friend Britta, her boyfriend played there on Thursday night, which was super dope. So that was definitely like a highlight from the weekend. I got down to some filthy bass, you guys. Like I did it. I did that thing. It was disco back to back. Corey Divine, I believe is his name. So definitely check out disco if you ever get the chance because I really enjoyed his set. And I told him, I was like, I'm a little house head techno girly, even though I do get down to bass. But I was like, I really enjoyed your set. And he's like, oh my God, I so appreciate that. So yeah, he killed it. I had lost my earplugs earlier in the day. So then I literally had to go get earplugs because the sound system at the Stacks was just fire. Then we went over to Woogie for Honey Dijon, which like she's incredible. Absolutely loved her. I had been chasing her for so long and I finally got to see her and it was just perfect because she was supposed to play Electric Forest 2019 and then she had some type of travel issue and stuff. So it like finally worked out that I got to see her and I really enjoyed her set. She's going to be at ARC. I don't know if I'll see her then because I just saw her, but she's a queen. Like she's just groovy house and such a vibe and I really enjoyed it. Friday was a fun little day. This was my favorite outfit that I wore. It was this black, like shiny, like fringe little outfit. Festival Babes had a meetup this day and that was super fun. I got to meet a lot of people that I had followed for a really long time that like we've been connected, right? So Kat Corey, the owner of Festival Babes is one of them. Queen Sarlocta, her name's Charlotte. I got to meet her finally and then got to see some familiar faces that I know and love like Britta, Sunflower Raver. I also got to meet Cherry Emoji Girl, Reno, who is such a lovely person. So yeah, I got to go to that Festival Babes meetup and this is one of those things where like that word reflection just comes back. Like I feel like I just got reflected a lot of like love at that meetup and like all throughout the weekend, honestly. But yeah, just getting to meet some of the girls that I've been connected with and they had such nice things to say. Like me and Sunflower Raver, Hera, we had such a nice little heart to heart moment. That was really lovely. And like, it was just one of those things. I was like, yeah, like I really belong here. I'm meant to be here. And like being in the festival community as a content creator, it can come with like a lot of imposter syndrome. Like I have 20,000 plus followers on Instagram and TikTok, and I still find myself feeling like I'm, you know, the girl that started this page back when I had 2,000 followers, you know, and I didn't have any followers on TikTok. So I still kind of view myself that way, but it's kind of nice to be reminded like, yeah, I do have this voice in this community and this platform. And like, I do make a difference, you know? So it was really nice to be reflected that. And if any of you said hi to me and said nice words during that day, that was really lovely. I also did run into one of my coaching clients. She was one of my first coaching clients, and I ran into her at Lightning in a Bottle, and she always told me how much she loved this festival. She's like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you here. I hope you have the best time. Like, I literally love this festival. I've always told you. I was like, I know, like, you're the one that told me. So that was just like so many like synchronistic moments that happened that were just really beautiful. And that was like another one. Some highlights from Friday. Yulia Nico set at Woogie was really cool. I'd been wanting to see her, and like her set was a vibe. She kind of went between house and like some like more minimal techno that was really cool. It was also like sunset vibes, which was really fun. Xoxo threw the fuck down, and I definitely want to see him again. We made a mistake on this one. We left too early. The set times weren't updated in the app, so we ended up leaving that one a little too early, which I was a little bit bummed about, but it's all good. Then we ended up going to Lane 8, and I'm going to be honest. I love Lane 8. This was my 14th, 15th set, right? His set at Electric Forest was a little bit better last year. I was expecting a little more, being the headline set of this night. Like, he was closing out the lightning stage, and I expected a little bit more from Daniel, but it was still a feel good set. It still felt really good, and I got to see him literally so close to me. Like, he literally was just right there, and it was beautiful. It was still very beautiful, but yeah, the Electric Forest set, like, he played around and experimented a lot more there, and I kind of was hoping the same for Lightning in a Bottle, but it is what it is. Daniel still put in the work up there, you know what I mean? Moving on to Saturday, like I said, this was a very giggly, fun day. Annika and I went all over. We checked out this artist called Black Pages, which was very African and tribal. That was just very cool. We did see a little bit of Nora and Pure for sunset, which was great. Then we stumbled upon Elephant Heart, and someone had recommended this set to me because, you know, I'm very much in my spiritual personal development era, right? And Elephant Heart was just such a beautiful set, just like that, like very much in tune with like manifesting, law of attraction. Like, they were saying affirmations, their music kind of gives that. And Inike had a very special moment at this set, and like I really enjoyed that set. That was definitely a highlight set for me. Then another favorite of mine was right after Elephant Heart was Maddie O'Neill. You guys, how come no one told me about this girl? It was filthy. So good. Experimental bass. She had some sick ass remixes. I was just like, oh my, we had so much fun at that set. That was definitely a highlight set, and she killed it, and I definitely would love to see her again. I just thought she was so creative, so talented. I did see Of the Trees after, and I really enjoyed his set, but I do think I liked Maddie O'Neill's set more. Like, I was just like blown away by that. And then we went to Labyrinth, and I absolutely love this set. I had been wanting to see Labyrinth for a very long time. He did a full performance, like visually, musically, like it was a whole performance, and he killed it, and it was so good. It was giving euphoria, but it was very good. He is very talented, and I really enjoyed that set. That was definitely a favorite of mine. We did end the day with a surprise set from Skrillex. I got a text like about halfway through his set that he was at the Stacks. So we ran over, we found my friend Britta, and we got down to that. That was super fun. Whenever you get that text that Skrillex is doing a surprise set, you got to go. It's funny. I got that text for Coachella 2017, his surprise dewlap set. Had an awesome time, and we had an awesome time then. And on Sunday, so the big news of Sunday was that there was going to be a surprise Rufus Du Sol set. They put on the flyer surprise with like the U, you know how they do their little U with the two dots. So that was the rumor around, and it got confirmed to me multiple times that was going to be Rufus Du Sol. It was going to be at the Junkyard stage, which is a little bit smaller of a stage. And do I think it should have been there? No. But was it there? Yes. Did we get there like 2 hours early to get a good spot? Also, yes. We were kind of dragging our asses on this day. Like, we were pretty tired this day because we had such a day on Saturday. We were moving pretty slowly. So we got our poke bowls, and then we went and planted ourselves at the Junkyard and got a good spot, front left. I really enjoyed the artist before. I forgot what his name was, but then Rufus Du Sol took us on a 2-hour journey of just like Afro house, tribal club mixes of their songs. Like, it was really special, and it was definitely a core memory and a core moment with Rufus Du Sol. Like, I will always love them, and I was really glad we got to witness that. And someone whipped out, you know, those like parachute things that we played around with and in PE, right? Someone like opened one up those rainbow things, and it was just so special being under one of those. And there was literally a totem with a disco ball in front of us, and when the parachute thing went over us, this guy just pushes up the disco ball totem, and it becomes like this circus tent, and we all were like, oh my God. So it was just like so special. And after that, I was like, man, I feel complete. Like, my lightning in a bottle experience is just complete now, you know? So that was really special. But other highlights after that, I did get to see Over Mono, and I highly recommend them. They have a really cool like live aspect. Their visuals are good, and I'm obsessed with their music. I feel like they're super underrated right now, so I definitely want you guys to check them out. And then Skrillex had a main set, and I was really impressed with this Skrillex set because for once he wasn't super like, all right, everybody, 1, 2, 3, like, I can't hear you, like, start the song, stop the song. Like, he was in his groove, in his vibe. Like, he played house, he played techno, and then towards the end, he like layered in like the songs we know and love. About halfway through, we kind of got done with the crowd. The crowd was a little bit annoying in VIP, so we went and sat on the couches and just listened to it from there. But like, honestly, after the Rufus Du Sol set, we all felt pretty complete. And that was really that, you know, we had become friends with this couple, Marcus and Amy, on the very first day. And then we just like stuck with them the rest of the weekend. And so it was nice to have that little fam that we formed. And, you know, we had other little pockets of friends that we made. But on that last like time, we kind of gave each other hugs, and like we're staying in touch with them, you know, but we were able to kind of just feel really complete about that whole experience. So that's really like all the music things. You know, there are 13 stages to groove at, so I've only highlighted a couple of them, but there's a lot to explore, and there's even afters, right? And then there's even like the art cars and stuff. So like there's so much music to explore. I feel like I saw a little bit at each of the stages, but honestly the main ones are like Lightning, Thunder, Woogie, the Stacks, the Junkyard, the Grand Artique has some music after hours, and then like the rest, I'm like, what other stages were there? Like, I'm blanking. That's really where I bounced around, but it is a lot of walking. So for example, like if you need to go from Lightning to Thunder, that's like maybe a 10-minute walk. Thunder to Woogie is maybe a 10-minute walk. If you got to go from Woogie to Lightning, that is like one end from the other. So that's definitely a tip when it comes to planning out some of the sets that you want to go to. You definitely have to account for some walking time. Now let's get into the vibes, the vibes. So the crowd, as I mentioned, like people just felt so free and wanting to meet other people, connecting with other people. Like everyone was just so authentic and expressive and just owning who they are. And I feel like because they were doing that in the crowd, it allowed me to kind of do that, you know, like kind of just like move a little differently, express myself a little differently. And I feel like that just kind of like brought me out of my shell a little bit. And like I mentioned, you know, a lot of people weren't on their phones or filming or whatever. Like it really did not feel main stage, mainstream feeling. Like it felt very community oriented. And I do think like those pillars that Lightning in a Bottle has and like kind of like the burner vibe to it does really add to it. And I could definitely feel that. And we had some really cool moments with a lot of strangers that I'll never see again, but I'm really grateful for those moments, you know? And in terms of what to wear, like you really can express yourself in whatever you want to wear. I wore a lot of things that I had already owned and kind of did that. I had one outfit not work out, and so I just went super comfy in like biker shorts on the last day, and like that was fine. But yeah, I really love my outfits. You can spend time having these like really thought out outfits, or you can go super comfortable. That also works too, you know? So whatever you feel comfortable in. I just recommend comfortable shoes and then maybe a bandana or a dust mask to help out with the dust. So rounding out, I feel like I've gone over a lot. It probably wasn't enough. But if you have any questions, let me know. Some tips for next time. I definitely recommend the 5-day ticket. It just gives you a lot more time to settle in and explore. You also might get a better camping spot if you decide to camp. You don't have to camp either. You could also drive in. That's what our friends did, Amy and Marcus. They stayed at an Airbnb and drove in every day. Of course, you kind of miss out on the camp feeling and like the after hours and things like that, because I think you do have to leave by a certain point. But they also got a locker and brought like stuff for nighttime and stuff, so you could always do that. Comfortable shoes are a must. It's a lot of walking. Bandanas, dust masks help. With the dust, having a portable shower is great. It does get cold at night, so you can always go back, pop over and change. I will say for afters, like if you are camping in high noon and your friends are having afters in sunset camp, like that's a little bit of a walk. So that's just something to factor in. I had a couple of invites for different renegades and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not walking that far. Sorry. We also looked out. We had like an after hours renegade near us, like a big art car thing that was really cool. So that was really nice. And then, my biggest advice, make time for some of the other activities, make time to explore. Don't just do the music, because you'll never know what you'll stumble upon, like an annual water balloon baseball game, right? Or like even walking past some of the things, we would see some interesting performances late at night when it's getting to like real weird hours at some of the mini stages and experiences and stuff like that. So like, you just never know. In terms of like a cost breakdown, so with the ticket and my camping pass, it came out to $1,050. With my flight from Austin to San Diego, I did use Southwest points, so that was really nice. I budgeted around $100 for outfits and accessories. I did buy a new outfit, but I ended up not wearing it. I covered the Walmart run because I covered the Walmart run and the car camping pass, and then Inike covered the rental car. I don't know how much it cost her, but probably was around $300, I would say. So I kind of covered some things for us there to kind of like offset it. I would say per day, depending on, food, you might want to budget like $30 a day. So for those like 4 or 5 days, there was still food available on Monday, which was really nice. So you could have a meal then before you head out of camp. I didn't talk about that process, so I'll talk about that after this. I did pay for gas, which was like California prices, maybe was like $75, I want to say. So like total ballpark, I spent around maybe $1,500, which I feel like was very worth it. Comparatively, like electric fours can run up to like close to 2,000. So I felt like that was a pretty good deal, Now leaving the campground. So I talked about arrival, leaving the campgrounds. There was a little bit of disarray with that. And we ended up having to figure out certain routes to go so we could get out in a timely manner. Definitely, if you leave earlier, you don't have to deal with the lines and traffic getting out, because it's like all of these lines funneling into one. Being in high noon was really clutch in terms of exiting the festival and the campgrounds, I would say, because if you were in sunrise or sunset, you're kind of in the back funneling into all of it. So definitely leave earlier if you can. I had a flight to catch too, so we were kind of running on the clock there. But we thankfully got out within like an hour, I would say, but we were stuck for a good while there. So I want to say we left shortly before noon. And we were definitely panicking. So we were able to figure it out and get out there, thankfully, but that's definitely something that could be improved upon. But that's kind of like any camping festival, you know what I mean? So, the last thing I'll end on is, would I attend again? And absolutely yes. I have locked in my tickets for next year. However, some plans have recently popped up that I don't know if I'll be able to attend next year. But I'm keeping my ticket until I very much know that I can't make it. But I was very excited to be going again, and I would love to go again, because I would love to know if this was like a one-off thing or if this is truly how amazing this festival is. Like, it was kind of after Electric Forest where I was like, oh my God, I have to go again. So that's how I feel about Lightning in a Bottle. But like, all in all, it was just such a beautiful weekend, and I am so glad I went. And I feel like it just, like I said, the word was just reflection. I was being reflected a lot of the things that I have been working on myself for. I was reflected a lot of the love back to me that I've given out into this world. And I was really reflected like the mission that I feel like I have and the message I have to spread, and that I am capable, I am worthy of sharing all of those things and all of the successes and everything to come of it. And at the core of everything is love, so how can I keep leading with love, being love, emulating love? And like, as long as I continue to do that, it gets reflected back to me. You know what I mean? And I keep attracting beautiful things. So ever since then, life has continued to get better and grow for me. And like, I just keep getting beautiful memories and experiences happening to me. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm really glad I went to Lightning in a Bottle and that I got to do it with my friend Inike, because we have just stayed in touch and have just reminded each other of those lessons that we learned from Lightning in a Bottle. So I'm just super grateful for it all. But if you have any questions about my experience, definitely let me know. If you're interested in getting tickets, I definitely recommend it. And if you have any questions, like I said, I'm all ears. I'm here to spread the word about Lightning in a Bottle. And like, if you decide to go, let's keep the vibes going and keep this sacred festival going, because it did remind me a lot of what Electric Forest used to be. And it kind of made me sad. And, you know, I'll always love Electric Forest. And I have plans to go back one day and take my mom to Electric Forest. But Lightning in a Bottle really stole my heart. And I'm very grateful for that. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. We are keeping the vibes going, so make sure to tune back in tomorrow. We are going over Regenerate Festival in Denver. I'm super excited to debrief that one with you guys. But signing off for now. I love you guys. I hope you have a very vibey rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.